Welcome to the channel, fans of professional volleyball. This is the second video I'm going to be doing on the 2018 Men's World Championships, which is going on right now in Italy and Bulgaria. The first video I did on the tournament was kind of ranking teams, telling you guys what I thought was going to happen, you know, that kind of thing. This video I'm going to be recapping what went on in the first round over the past 10 days and previewing what I think is going to take place in the second round. The FIVB has decided to get real creative with the format of this tournament, so I'm going to do my best to explain quickly how it works. In the first round, there were 4 pools of 6 teams each. 4 of those teams in each pool made it through to the second round, where they were repooled based on their rankings from the first pool. The top team from each of these new pools, plus 2 of the best second place teams, will move on to the final 6. Where it gets interesting though, is that points you gained in the first round of pool play carry over to the second round. So teams are starting at either a huge advantage or disadvantage based on the pools they played in the first round. I don't personally agree with this. It rewards teams a lot that had easier pools, and you know, if you were pool B or C, you had a lot more tough games than those in pool A and D. So it's a little unbalanced, but we'll see how it plays out over the next few days. Also, I think it would have been a lot better if we had an 8-team single elimination tournament as the final round, instead of the weird thing where there's 2 pools of 3 and then 4 of those teams move on to a semis. I just think it reduces the amount of games that these guys have to play and also provides a more exciting tournament format. Anyway, that's more than enough format talk. Why don't we say goodbye to some of the awesome teams that were eliminated in the first round? So really, Japan is the only team I feel bad for not making that second round. That game against Argentina they had in the last day was kinda epic. I suggest you guys go watch it if you haven't already. The rankings I made in my preview video, which you can check out if you want, were very close to how it actually turned out. There were a few teams that looked better than I expected. Finland looked stronger than I expected. They made it out of Group D, and I've got to say they probably have the best fans out of anyone in this tournament. So many traveled to the games that were taking place in Bulgaria. The Netherlands, obviously one of the biggest stories of this tournament. Wow, this team just exceeded expectations by so much, and they're doing it in a unique way, utilizing their bench players a lot, playing matchups, and really showing people how important teamwork is in volleyball. Belgium also looked a bit better than I expected. Their middles were just spectacular so far, and Bram van de Dries, man, he is a really stellar opposite. So those were the teams that were better than I expected them to be, and now for the teams that played worse than I was expecting from them. The biggest one has got to be Russia. They dropped some winnable games to the USA and Serbia, putting them at 3rd in the pool and really hurting their chances of making it to the final 6. France and Canada were kind of in the same situation. They were both in a really tough pool, and the stellar play of the Netherlands, plus also having to play against Brazil, really made it hard for them to get enough points. Could be tough for either of those teams to make the final 6 now. Also Cuba, based on their reputation, obviously they have some of the best volleyball players in the world that aren't taking place in this tournament. They have a stellar youth development program even if their older athletes leave, and pretty good rankings in Norsica, but they just couldn't get it done in this tournament. Again, they had some good teams in their pool, and like I said earlier, Finland ended up making it out of their group. Now I'm going to talk about some of the players that I really appreciated in that first round of the World Championships. At Libero, this is probably one of the only positive things I'm going to say about Canada today, but Stephen Marshall, man, he was amazing. Usually Blair Ban is the starter for the Canadian national team, but Canada had a secret weapon. Stephen Marshall plays outside hitter for the Berlin Recycling Volleys, came in at Libero, and just was by far the best defensive libero of the entire tournament, averaging 2.5 digs per set. No one else is even averaging 2. And it's just amazing the amount of highlight plays he's produced in such a short amount of time. At setter, Dan van Haarlem of the Netherlands has just been so important to that team's Cinderella success. He's been connecting amazingly with middles like Michael Parkinson and Jasper Diefenbach, and he's just running that offense so smoothly, in addition to being a good server and a good blocker. Even though Russia hasn't been as good as usual, mainly due to their middle play and setter play, outside hitter Igor Kliuka has been awesome for them. He's one of the most efficient hitters of the tournament, and if you've seen him play, you know why. He has 40 kills on 58% hitting. The guy gets so high when he hits, he often just hits over blocks, especially if a shorter setter is put on him. And at opposite, another hitter who has been absolutely unstoppable, the one, the only, Ivan Zaytsev. 64 kills on 62.75% hitting. Just for reference, Osmanu Tirrena led the entire Italian league last season with somewhere around 56-57% hitting. So averaging 63% against competition like this is absolutely unbelievable. And not to mention his 12 aces for the man that currently has the highest recorded serve speed. And then at middle, one guy who's really impressed me, maybe not a big name yet, but he will be soon, Causa Marenick of Slovenia. He's averaging about 0.64 blocks per set, he has 14 kill blocks, and only 3 faults for the tournament, and a tournament-leading 27 rebounds. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's when a block touch results in a continuation for your team. Alright, so I think that's enough talk about that first round that just finished on Sunday. More exciting to talk about for me is what's going to happen in these new pools that were formed for the second round. Let's talk about Pool E first. We have Italy, Netherlands, Russia, and Finland. Now what makes this pool interesting is that because Russia lost 2 games in the first round, they only have 10 points carried on over into this round, which means they basically have to play perfect volleyball in order to have a chance to qualify for the final 6. Italy's basically guaranteed a spot through because they went undefeated in the first round. I would put them down as a lock for the final 6, and they deserve it. They've been playing extremely well. Netherlands, who knows if they can continue their awesome success? I kind of hope they can, but they're going to have really tough games against Italy and Russia. Finland would have to have a miracle for them to even still have a chance of qualifying after the first day. Because they're so far behind in points in this format, they virtually have no chance of getting to the final 6, even if they swept this pool. Pool F has Brazil, Belgium, Slovenia, and Australia. I like to refer to this pool as the piece of cake pool because it is by far the easiest to qualify from. Not only does it have the weakest teams overall, they also have the lowest point totals, with Brazil leading at 11 points, whereas the other leading teams are at about 15 points. So really, this pool is so wide open as to who could qualify. The top 3 teams are going to really have to battle it out. They're all so close in talent level. But because all of them have such low point totals, it's very unlikely that the second place team in this pool will be one of the teams that qualifies for the final 6. Brazil has obviously been here many times before. You can never count them out of the final 6 or even the medal round. But the team just looks exhausted so far, and they've had a really hot and cold tournament. Slovenia and Belgium really battled it out in Pool A. They had that awesome game where Slovenia came back from down 2 sets to beat Belgium 3-2. And I think Australia could give some of these teams a bit of a battle. They took the USA to 5 sets, remember. Pool G has the USA, Iran, Bulgaria, and Canada. Again, not the strongest pool ever. It's too bad for Iran and Bulgaria that Canada ended up as the 4th place team in this pool. They're by far the strongest 4th place team pool out of Finland, so it might be tough for Iran or Bulgaria to qualify for the 2nd spot because they would probably have to beat Canada and also take a couple sets off the USA. Speaking of the USA, they have 13 points already, and barring anything catastrophic happening, should definitely be able to take this pool pretty easily and move on to the final 6. Iran has been playing their best volleyball. They definitely have an outside shot of being that team that qualifies as one of the 2nd place teams, but Canada and Bulgaria will be very tough opponents for them to face. I don't know how favored they are in either of those matches. Bulgaria, again, we saw how much they missed Svet and Sokolov in the first round, and even though they qualified for this round, it wasn't pretty. I love their home fans. The arenas in Bulgaria have been so loud when they've been playing, but unfortunately, I highly doubt it'll be enough to get them into the final 6. And Canada had that really, really tough group in Group B, and even though they didn't play as well as I'd hoped or as many of the fans expected, I think they're still the 2nd most talented team in this group, but their chances of making the final 6 coming back from only 9 points from the first round is pretty slim. And the last pool, Pool H. Oh man, I do not envy any team in this pool. This is an incredibly tough pool with 3 world superpowers in Poland, Serbia, and France battling it out. In Argentina, definitely not an easy out either. They're a good team. Poland, with such a huge points lead, they're at 15 because they went undefeated in Pool D of the first round. They're likely going to win the pool. All they really need is to take 3 points off of Argentina and then win a couple sets or yet maybe even a match against Serbia and France, and they're through. And the real question will be, can Serbia or France qualify for that best second place spot to get into the final 6? I can almost guarantee you that one of those 2 second best teams is going to come from this pool. Whether it's Serbia or France, I don't know. Serbia has a 1-point lead, but they've also traditionally been a more inconsistent team. France only had 11 points. They really need to beat Poland and Serbia to get through. It's going to be crazy that one of these teams is going to miss the final 6. Especially France, who's been to the finals of the last 2 international tournaments that have occurred. But this format punishes you heavily for having a hard pool in the first round. With all that being said, the teams that I think are going to play in the final 6 are Poland, Italy, USA, Serbia, Russia, and Belgium. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the World Championship so far. I know I'm really enjoying it, kind of interacting with you guys on YouTube and other places I frequent online. I really loved the discussion we had in the comments on the first video. Lots of healthy debate, but also a lot of really good opinions, and I know I learned things from you guys, so love the comments. Keep them coming. Remember to subscribe if you want to see other videos I do on the World Championships and videos I'm doing in the future. Don't worry, Top 10 Liberos is coming. Hopefully the second round is even more exciting and fun to watch than the first.